Appearance on Dion's Daily Dose does not imply endorsement from or by any candidate or guest. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by Dion Bergeron or Dion's Daily Dose are his own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of any guest. Material and information presented is for general information purposes only. The Dion's Daily Dose name in all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owners, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service. If you'd like to support the show, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Dion's Daily Dose.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to today's edition of Dion's Daily Dose. We're actually face-to-face. The Triple D presents face-to-face, Dion and Liz. We got a good show for you today. There are some very, very salacious mailers that got sent out to certain individuals around town and, around the county, I guess. I know of a certain number of them. I don't know how many got sent out, but we're going to address that. So today we're joined by my lovely wife, Elizabeth, also known as Liz, and she's with us here today in studio. Without further ado, ta-da!
Hello, hello. It's Friday.
It is.
Oh, thank goodness.
Are you happy it's Friday?
I mean, when you have to work on the weekend, is it really Friday?
True.
No, work. I'm going to go help out at the polls Saturday in Michigan City for early voting.
Okay. All right.
It is 8 to 3 tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Which one are you going to be at?
Michigan City. And then Monday till noon. And
because there's only one early voting in Michigan City.
Yeah, there's just one. Okay. And then Monday you have until noon, 8 to noon to go early vote. And then at noon, they close it all up, take it back to the courthouse, do whatever they do over there. And then it starts live on May 7th. So
that's
the day.
Election day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I will be at the polls, but holding signs. For who depends on the time and the location.
Right. There's a few candidates that you've been asked to help out with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So let's give a little background on these little mailers that are going out.
Not a happy Liz. They're awful.
They really
awful.
are. I've read them, which I'm going to share with you. I have pictures, but the part that really catches my eye is the absolute terrible grammar and spelling that is just peppered.
The lies.
Throughout.
I can deal with bad spelling and grammar because I'm a horrible speller. I can deal with that. Yeah. The lies, the meanness, the nastiness. And it's super common for them to go out that week or two. It's not an inside joke. It's an inside expectation. I don't care what party office you run for. 2 weeks before election day, that's when stuff hits. Yeah. Why? Because you can't reach the masses fast enough to counter it. You don't even know it's coming, and then it's coming. And then a week before, that's when really ugly, it's going to happen, it happens. That's when there's really not enough time.
Happens. It's about a week, 5 days to a week before election day. That's when all the really, really fun stuff comes out.
About as ugly as the one that came out against you.
Yeah.
But this is involving people that aren't even elected into office. And their kids. Yeah. This is ugly.
Let's go ahead and bring it up on screen.
I'm gonna look at my phone because I have it pulled up so I can see what you're looking at.
All right. So
which one's the first one?
The first one is
about Tim.
Yeah, it's about Tim. I'm actually hold on. I'm gonna add you back in just a second.
Okay.
They can hear you just fine.
They can still hear my voice.
They can still hear you.
So all right, that works.
So this is the page on Tim Stavos. Now
he sounds like a villain, like
the way they make it sound. Oh yeah,
villain.
Yeah.
Just put like a Magneto helmet on him. He's not. He's Batman, but according to this one,
right?
He's just an awful evil man.
Right.
Which if is so not how Tim is.
It is so insane. Okay, so let's go through this. Let's go through this line by line.
Okay.
That's accomplishments, chaos, destruction, lies. See, And this is the stuff that bothers me, right? So the first line here under accomplishments, you've got capital letter for chaos, capital letter destruction, and then all lowercase.
Maybe they're not as important. No,
because whoever designed this is an idiot. That much is evident, and it's really, really frustrating. Because
I like this one. Uses his millions to buy the souls of other Republicans. Does Tim have your soul?
He does not have my soul.
Tim does not have my soul.
As a matter of fact, I'm gonna just say this, just so it's out there. My show, I have received sponsorship offers. I have received offers where people want to give me money so that I will look favorably on them, sell their products, whatever. I haven't accepted any money from anyone. I haven't signed any agreements because every single one of these offers came with caveats.
Right.
Where they control your content or they decide what you can say. I am very much free speech, and I am not going to let anyone, including Tim Stabos, have control over what I say.
Yes. Period. Yeah, make that clear, because you'll end up in a mailer saying he owns.
Right. Yeah, I want to make that perfectly clear. I like Tim. I do. But it doesn't matter to me how much money someone has. You're not going to tell me what I can and can't say.
And you know what? I think I'm safe on this. I have not heard of anyone turning down a donation from him. So if you have a problem with him, why'd you take money from him? That's just my question. But
absolutely.
I'm going to jump to the bottom. It says that he controls the majority of the Republican Party. Number one, the Republican Party is not just the people who go to the breakfasts or work the fair or go to the precinct meetings. It's the people of LaPorte County. And
the Republican Party is anyone who has voted for a Republican and believes in the conservative values of this county and this nation.
Right.
Period.
So he doesn't control the majority of the party. And number two, even the ones that they're referring to, people like me who try not to miss a precinct meeting or a breakfast.
Right.
He doesn't have control of the majority of us. I don't think he has control over any of us.
No, I don't think so.
I've gone and disagreed with Tim on different things.
Sure.
I've never felt like, he's going to get me or I have to agree with him or he won't support me. So I don't know how he controls the majority when he doesn't.
I have no idea. But I just want to look. Okay, so here the very first
it's a good
line.
photo of him, though.
It is a good photo. At least they used a good picture of him. Right. So it says county credit rating ruined under his administration. Now, that's a very slippery and interesting way to phrase that because, yes, the county credit rating was downgraded while he was auditor.
True.
However, here's
big old important.
It's a massive however, a big old butt, big old ghetto booty, right?
Oh, just big capital B, capital U, capital T.
So look, it was the treasurer and the preceding administration, the preceding auditor.
Which it's been the same. They've been bouncing.
Right. Those two have been bouncing around.
Joey Winsky and Lynn Spiviak have been bouncing between those offices because you only get 2 terms, 2 consecutive terms.
Right.
So what you've had is Joey 2 terms auditor, Lynn 2 terms treasurer, bounce back and forth. And if you have any doubt about Lynn Spivack, I don't know her as a person. I'm looking at her job performance.
Right.
Look at Kingsford Heights. Look at what's going on there.
Yeah.
And
it's a mess.
I think neither one of them, in my opinion, was fit for either treasurer or auditor. Right. Not every job is for everybody.
Right.
And
I am not making any comments about them as an individual because I don't know either of them. What I know is their job performance is terrible.
So here comes Tim, and he comes in and all heck breaks loose. Did all heck break loose because of Tim? No. He got into a new role. Maybe not all of us, but we've all heard stories about someone gets a job and they go into their job and they're cleaning up mess after mess after mess.
Look at, here's a perfect example. Look at the Lincoln Township trustee. That poor lady. I don't know her personally, but I've heard all about what's going on over there.
Watched meetings.
I watched a few of the meetings. And Holy cow.
God bless her.
Mess, right?
God bless her. We need people like that don't, when they're being disrespected by their township trustees. I can think of one who's running for commissioner who has been blatantly joked about people going to go hang her. I mean, come on, people.
Insane.
If that was me, I'd have some choice words. God bless her. School bus driver, like just a very nice lady.
But she stepped into a really, really difficult situation.
Her fault.
That's not her fault.
Exactly.
It was a massive mess.
So
okay, so let's move on.
They did quote his salary. Rarely even shows for work. How do they know?
Right.
How do you? I don't know when the auditor shows up for work and when he doesn't, because I don't work in that building.
I have no idea.
So if this is true, it's not. But here's my first context clue. For someone to make the allegation, it has to be someone who is in that building a lot.
Indeed.
So there's a context clue. Who? Don't know yet.
Yeah,
that's my first context clue. If you're watching when this man goes to work and when he leaves, that means you're in that building a lot.
Yeah.
Are you just in there a lot? Are you working in there? I don't know. But my first context clue is this is someone who's very familiar with the schedules and the ins and outs of people in that building.
Indeed. Okay. So let's see here. This is my favorite line. So paid his legal bills with your tax dollars to the tune of $20,000 in his personal defamation lawsuit.
Let's talk about personal.
Let's talk about.
Let me do this because you can't.
You handle this. I have to.
Anyone who is in the county is aware that a lawsuit was brought against Connie Grammarosa and Rich Merzinski for the firing of 3 county employees: Al Stevens, and Deborah Fly Nelson. These individuals, and if anyone wants to see the documentation, go on Facebook, ask Jody Slayball. He has this, you need a special account for federal paperwork. It's a federal case.
It's called a PACER account.
It's called a PACER account. He will more than gladly share it with you.
Yeah, he's shared multiple.
He has already. But if you haven't seen it, shoot him a Facebook message. He'll show it to you. Anyway, they are being sued personally. Personally, I'm glad I'm off camera because I look pretty crazy when I stress this word. Oh, I am great. Personally. So Tim was told by county council that the county was not going to pay his personal legal fees. Okay, fine. So he's paying that. His issue, which brought a lawsuit by Connie and Rich against him, was that he said, you know, we get this bill. His job is to review the bills, audit the bills.
Almost like he's an auditor or something.
Right? And he said, you know what? This is kind of weird. Hold on. The bill doesn't state whether this is Connie or Rich or personal or professional. Let's send it to county council, the financial arm of the county, the chief financial officers, if you will.
Yeah.
I want their opinion.
Right.
I don't feel comfortable. I want their opinion. Immediately, the 2 that are being sued personally said, no, pay it. Now, did Tim say what's good for the goose is good for the gander? Yeah. You know what? Because, I mean,
I get it.
Did he say that out of anger? Would we all say those are assumptions? I'm not going to make them. But the point is valid. If you say, we don't pay your personal legal fees, that means we don't pay anyone's, but we're going to pay yours. So the 2 that benefited the most from this overruled Joe. It was a 2-1 vote. So me and you are paying the legal fees of the people that you are involved in suing. So is Al. So is Deborah. So that is, that's a manatee on my phone. Sorry. That's what's going on. So if we want to talk about in this flyer, how dare we're paying it. We're paying theirs as well. And it's going to keep on happening.
And I'm pretty sure we paid thousands of dollars for a car accident by one of the commissioners.
We did. Don't forget that we have, and a lot of people don't understand this, the lawsuit that Sean Fagan is involved in with the commissioners. Those emails are state property. Because the prosecuting attorney's office turns out is an arm of state government. I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
as a former state employee, current state contractor, or works for a current state contractor, I can say this. The state gets what is theirs, the state property. I've seen people not get a last paycheck at Indiana State Prison because they didn't turn in a pair of pants.
Right. Yeah. The state's going to get what the state thinks they owe.
To think that you can say, well, I'm going to go through all these legal emails and give you what I think is necessary. There could be evidence in there. Is there? I don't know. There could be.
There could be.
We don't want people touching things that don't have a chain of custody. So the fear is that there have been emails by whoever saying non-work related things. Right. Don't use your work email for personal emails. That's even at my company. They're like, whatever you send out, we could look at. Yeah. So you don't use your work email for personal emails. Right. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy rule to live by.
And what a lot of these elected officials don't understand, or you would think they would by now, but they don't understand Freedom of Information Act requests.
Right.
Every single thing you put into a work email, if you are an elected official, is subject to a Freedom of Information Act request, also known as FOIA.
Right.
FOIA request. Give me those emails. So as such, if you're using it for personal stuff, you probably should rethink that.
I got my old school Yahoo account that I'm never going to give up. I don't care. That's my personal email.
Yeah.
I have my company email. The state could say, send me every email. We need it referring to this person that I work with because it's for a lawsuit. And guess what? Every email. Even if I'm insulting someone, being rude, being aggressive, doesn't matter. Not that I am, but doesn't matter. Anything I've sent out or received could go to a lawsuit.
Right.
It's the same thing. So let's not talk about how we're paying Tim's legal fees. And that's so horrible.
It's so ridiculous.
When we're doing the same thing for other people.
Right. Okay. So weaponized his office to attack anyone who opposes his political agenda, even other Republicans. Let's talk about that for a moment.
When I read that, I immediately thought back to a radio 1 hour angry 8 a.m. Monday morning radio rants.
Indeed.
Of Connie Grammarosa.
Yeah.
And she said she admitted that he was a huge donor to her campaign. Okay, cool, fine. And she felt like he had bought her, blah, blah, blah. She said almost the same thing.
Yeah.
So her words are being used in this. Her words are being alluded to this. By who? I don't know. But obviously, we're not coming from a level of objectivity or genuine concern.
Right.
This is a personal biased mailer. Sent by who? Don't know. You're supposed to identify yourself. We don't know who sent it. That's a level 6 felony, my friends. You cannot do this.
This is something that we should probably get out of the way. So any political mailers, there are very stringent legal requirements about
a certain font size.
Yeah.
We saw.
There has to be a disclaimer.
We have a candidate who can't follow that rule.
Yeah. We have a candidate. Yeah. We have a candidate.
Anyway, it's supposed to say paid for by.
Yeah. It's supposed to have a paid for by disclaimer at the bottom that shows, like, for example, you've all seen the little political mailers that go out and they say, you know, this is not paid for by any candidate or candidate's campaign. It's paid for by,
by friends of the county.
Yeah, by corn lovers of America,
Dave
blah,
Smith.
blah, right? Whomever. It doesn't matter. You can send out a political mailer, a political hit piece if you want to, but you have to say who paid for it.
Right. That one mailer that was going out last election or last commissioner's election.
Right.
As a circus and people were getting it. It was a big thing. That even was like paid for by people who are tired of the drama or whatever.
Or something like
they
that.
Registered, they did all this. It's still stayed anonymous,
right?
But you have to identify.
Okay, so let's kind of pick up the pace a little bit. Lost vast majority of his employees in the auditor's office, either by quitting or transferring out.
They followed their boss. It happens. People like working for someone. They say, hey, I'm going to I mean, it happens in my field all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I could take over a case for a family, for an individual. Their case manager leaves and goes to Acme case management company.
Right.
One of the other 5, 6,
another company.
As much as they may like me, as much as say, hey, you've been great for the last 2-3 months. We found out Stacy is over at Acme. We're going to go follow her.
Right.
Doesn't mean I did a bad job. It means
and the opposite
they want to keep working for them. And the opposite is true.
When you change businesses like you were forced to because of the changes the state made.
That's a whole other show for
which is a whole other thing. But your consumers, clients, whatever you want to call them, the people who you work for, follow you because they choose to, because they like you. It happens all the time, not just in political office. It happens all the time. So this is a ridiculous non-statement. He says violates state statutes and accuses others of being responsible.
He accuses people of being responsible. That's a heck of an accusation.
That is.
Do you know what I got to say about you? You are a beautiful, responsible human being. Oh, the horror. Violates state statutes. Like what?
Right.
What?
There's no proof of anything.
Right.
Doesn't pay county bills on time or even at all sometimes. This entire thing is ridiculous. It's poorly
He just
worded.
doesn't do it. Well, sometimes he does. But he doesn't do it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. What bills are we talking about?
We already talked about him not wanting to pay the personal bills for commissioners when they wouldn't pay his. I mean, I get it. Sued by Michigan City Redevelopment Committee. They misspelled committee.
And when? I've never heard of this.
There's nothing in here about any facts. And again, they misspelled committee. Whoever wrote this, whoever's responsible for this, learn English, please.
In 2007, sued by the state of Indiana. He was an auditor in 2007.
Right.
I don't know what that. I don't know what that's
What
about.
is that supposed to mean?
Okay.
Sued by many lawyers for not paying bills, but he pays his personal lawyers with your tax dollars.
That goes back to the whole hiring of Andrew Jones. And did he know him? Did he not? Andrew said, I'm not his lawyer anymore. Right. So at that part,
God forbid, I want to talk about that just really briefly. God forbid they were trying to find an attorney that they were familiar with, that they knew wasn't crooked.
They went to St. Joe County.
They went to another county for someone. But of course, once Commissioner Grammarosa got her panties in a twist because Joe Haney wanted to uphold the law, all of a sudden that wasn't good enough.
Connie was
the auditor. No, the auditor's salary shows as $79,141 yearly, but in parentheses, rarely even shows up for work.
How does this person who wrote that know?
How do they know this? Now in big letters. Now he wants to be your commissioner.
Which that's a part-time.
So it's
position.
Funny they can spell commissioner, but they can't spell committee.
Well, here's the thing too.
Maybe it's on letterhead.
Maybe.
That they can look at.
Here's my thing. You say he doesn't show up for a full-time job. This is a part-time job.
Right.
So then wouldn't that...
All of these jobs, all of the vast majority of Indiana government is a part-time job. It was set up that way because Indiana was supposed to be a very hands-off government.
Right.
It's supposed to be a very citizens are in charge. Now, we've gotten away from that to a degree, and we can talk about that another time. But all of the jobs, including state rep, everything is supposed to be a part-time job. So,
and then they want us to stop straight ticket voting. Well, in the primary,
straight ticket voting got us.
In the primary, you can agree or not.
Right.
You can only vote Republican or Democrat.
That's the way that it is.
Right. So this primary, May 7th, you have to vote straight ticket. Right. That's all you're going to see.
Yeah, that's just.
But again, stop the madness.
Stop the madness.
Which I agree. Let's stop the madness.
Let's stop the madness. Absolutely. And let's get rid of the people that are in collusion with this.
He's got control of you, me, everybody in the
Allegedly, Tim Stables has control of the majority of the Republican Party. Time to clean the toxic environment.
And I agree.
It's time to clean the toxic environment, but Tim Stables is not the toxic one.
And
let's move on.
Okay. This is the next page. Who's the next one?
On. I got to fix it. It went all weird on me. Hold on.
Oh.
There we go.
Ella.
So There we go. Okay.
Right?
I got it.
Yeah. Ella.
Yep. All right. So the next one, I'm going to pull you off.
That one I know
briefly.
a little bit of facts about.
Okay. Yeah. So we're going to get into this. It says accomplishments. I just do what Tim says. I did make one decision on my own. I increased the recording fees.
Okay. I got
this is all bull.
Two things. Number one, if you know Ella's going to do what Ella is going to do.
Yes. Ella is very much her own person. Nobody controls that
exactly.
woman.
Exactly. Number two, I raised the recording fees. I did not know Ella was the state of Indiana.
Yeah, that's who controls the recording
fees.
The
state of Indiana can raise recorder fees.
Yeah.
And it was done before Ella came into office.
Yeah, interesting the way that works, huh?
Ella, I guess, is the entire state of Indiana government and doing things before she even gets into office.
Right.
Another thing, they say that's Tim Stabos' girlfriend.
Yeah, let's clear this up.
I asked Ella about that. Because you know what? Okay. They're together a lot.
Yeah, and there is a picture.
They go on vacation.
They have gone on vacation together. I've gone on vacation with my buddy Jim.
Right.
We went to Mackinac Island, drove all the way or rode all the way up there on bikes. That doesn't mean we're dating.
Right. Both Ella and Tim have said we are just friends. We are not dating.
Right.
At some point, you have to believe that when they go, no, we're not together.
We're just friends.
My oldest and best friend, I've known since 14 years old. His name is Manuel. I have no interest, and he has no interest in dating me. If we were older and you passed away, would we be traveling buddies? Probably.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't be together.
Right. Right.
So
there are men and women that are friends that are not in an intimate relationship.
When you have the two people that are supposedly in this relationship saying that they are not, you have to believe them. Now,
so go ahead.
Here's what I want to say. Sharon Kirkham was on social media. I believe it was the Porte County politicians page. And that was her big thing. Ella is Tim's girlfriend. You can't vote for her.
Yeah. So it makes me wonder what her connection is in this mailer, because she was the only person I ever saw that said anything about that.
Right.
And we're going to release our candidate video here in just a few minutes, because we spend a lot of time on it, and I stand by everything that's in it. We were a lot nicer about Sharon Kirkham than I'm about to be right now.
Even
if she is involved in any way with this, then you're slime.
I haven't heard anyone come out and say they mentioned me.
That's
I don't
the other
support
thing. Yeah,
this.
I have no connection with this. I haven't heard a single disclaimer from a single one of the people mentioned in this that in a positive light.
And even if they are dating, they're not.
They're not. But even
Tim
if they
has
were,
no role in her job.
Right.
If you go to look at a big corporation, you will have CEOs dating CEOs, married to CFOs, and all C-level executives. They don't have anything to do with each other. There's nothing that the auditor or commissioner could tell the recorder to do.
Right.
So this is simply an attack.
Oh,
I don't like Tim, so let's take down everyone who's ever had breakfast with him.
Who's ever even remotely
They
in the
obviously stalked her Facebook, which is classy. And screenshotted it.
Right.
We do enjoy all our time away from the office at the taxpayer's expense. So I guess on the weekend they can't go anywhere.
Right.
I guess they can't spend their own money on vacation. It's
ridiculous. So, okay, the next page. These 6 families want the taxpayers to continue funding their family dynasty.
You know what? This page made me sad.
It really is sad.
As a mom, we always say children are absolutely off limits. And none of these people on this page are kids.
Right.
But there was a scandal back when I was running because allegedly some candidates said something about some candidates' adult children.
Right.
And that was off limits.
Right.
But now it's not.
Now,
so let's address the children real quick. Number one, Emily Graves.
Yeah. So Emily Graves is listed part-time.
No idea what department. And man, she made a lot of money. Being a part-time employee. At least we're talking $30,000 a year. No seasonal temporary worker makes that much money a year. Number one. Number two, she was hired. The auditor's office, from how I understand it, when it comes tax time, some of these offices audited treasurer, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Hire sort of like it's the big tax season. We need people to help.
Yeah, they're temporary jobs.
It's a temporary job.
Yeah.
What? She's at college right now.
Right. I'm going to say this about these seasonal jobs and these temporary jobs for the county. They can't get enough people.
No.
There's a reason why these jobs stay unfilled. I was just about to say, poll workers, they always need more people.
Right.
Every single election season, I see posts. Hey, we need more election workers.
Right.
Hey, we really need more election workers.
Right.
We need more poll workers.
Just
we need more poll workers.
I'm working the polls.
Right.
I am not hired by LaPorte County.
Right.
I am not an employee of LaPorte County.
Right.
Same thing. This gets brought up later with Juanita Haney. Joe, like the people in charge of hiring for voter registration is voter registration.
Right.
People work polls. I remember my mom working polls, my friends' parents working polls.
Yep.
It is not, you are not a county employee.
Right.
You are helping out a day here, a day here.
Right.
Let's go down to Catherine Zabel, Kristen Zabel's daughter. Here's the most hilarious part. She doesn't work that job.
She doesn't work for the circuit court?
No, that's Taylor Van Sickles.
So yet another absolute blatant lie.
Who's not related to anyone, by the way. If you watch like Election Board, she's the lady with the long black hair.
And I'm going to say Taylor is phenomenal.
She is. She's so great.
Constantly on it on social media when people are asking about,
yes,
hey, where can I vote? Where's the polling places? Where's the mobile van going to be? She's on it, and she's always giving information. And I have seen, I've witnessed people being rude to her. Absolutely just garbage human beings bashing her for stuff she has no control over nor involved in. And she is just really a ray of sunshine. She doesn't
uber professional, knows her job.
Very professional. She's doing a great job.
So Catherine Zabel, this is not her office. This is not her salary. And that doesn't mean it's her mom's income.
$165,827.20. Who that 4-year salary allegedly?
You can throw anyone's salary together for 4 years and it sound epic.
Not only that, where do they get these numbers from? Like the election office for what? What are you talking about?
It's not even her. So
yeah, she doesn't even do the job that they're claiming.
A lie about Rhonda's daughter.
Right.
We have a lie about Kristen's daughter, and Kristen's not an elected official. She's appointed.
Right.
There are two of them, Angie Heinzman for the Democratic Party, Kristen Zabel for the Republican Party. Why is someone who's not even running for office on this mailer? Why are these two daughters on this mailer? Are we just attacking everyone who's connected to everyone, or are we focusing on the candidates?
Yeah, because I thought that wasn't okay, Connie. Come on, man. This is so stupid. The entire thing. Number one, whoever came up with this, you're an idiot. Number two, whoever can't spell, learn to use spell check. It's so easy now. It's built into most programs. Probably whatever you made this on.
Let's also
probably had spell check in it.
Let's also not forget we have a commissioner whose daughter secured a contract.
Yep.
We have another commissioner who, during her first term, which was temporary, had a husband that worked in maintenance.
That's right.
Currently, she has a nephew who works in maintenance.
Yeah.
It happens.
And her son, I believe, is employed somewhere else in the county. There's multiple positions held by family members.
The rule is you cannot directly oversee your family member.
Yeah.
So if you look at the top, we have Joe Haney. That's his salary for 4 years.
But go down.
Okay.
Through this because it's just ridiculous. The entire thing is salacious and incorrect.
Right.
And it's really to the point to where these people come off sounding just as desperate as they are.
Right.
The next page, it talks about Rhonda Graves.
Horrible. I am so...
This whole section is just disgusting.
I'm so sick over this because if anyone knows her, they know how good of a person she is.
Right.
She has not gone on the attack.
No, she hasn't responded to any of these personal attacks launched by Rosie and his crew.
Right. It reminds me of Hamilton, the musical. People have seen it, where they talk about how Alexander Hamilton basically sabotages himself. And the reason that Jefferson can do whatever he wants is because Jefferson doesn't respond to schoolyard taunts.
Yep, doesn't acknowledge.
Rhonda has not responded. Rhonda is.
I'm going to pull you off. You can still tell.
Okay. Rhonda is such a good person who's given to our county and the community in various ways for years. Gives back to the veterans, not by just eating pancakes and fish.
I want to address, that's important too, because that's his big claim. Right. Oh, I support the veterans. I go to pancake breakfasts.
Which good. That's good.
That's a good thing. But
what else do you do?
Whereas Rhonda, on the other hand,
she started the Cookies for Soldiers.
Right.
She started it at a time when I think maybe I'm wrong. The first time National Guard went overseas.
Yeah.
I was born in 80. If it happened before, and her daughter was the one that came up with the idea, and Rhonda made it happen. Of how do we bring them a little bit of comfort? Right. Because this was shocking to have National Guards go overseas.
So
and Girl Scout cookies for soldiers.
Right. So look, here's what it says. Appointed by Tim Stabos as chief deputy auditor.
That's normal.
Previous deputy could no longer deal with Tim Stabos.
Reality. The deputy auditor did go with Joey.
Yeah.
She did.
Because they wanted to follow her.
Rhonda.
I get it.
Came qualified from another county that she wanted to come to LaPorte County because she wanted to be home more.
Right. We talked about during her interview with the show. She talked about
exactly. So Tim did what the auditor does, appoints a deputy auditor. The scandal. Mike Rosenbaum will end up, if elected, will appoint someone. Rhonda in the general beats the general. Whoever wins in the general will appoint a deputy.
And that's
God forbid
they appoint a deputy auditor. It says just as Stables, she doesn't pay bills on time. Really? What's the evidence?
On time? Again, what's the evidence?
When you make a claim like this, it's on you to document evidence and prove your accusation.
I'll say this: Rhonda turned her financial forms in on time.
Exactly.
And they're complete, thorough, and honest.
And accurate.
The other one,
not so much.
Not so much.
So look, it says this is my favorite part, which tells me I personally believe Rosie is definitely involved in this.
Rosie's a term for
because
Rosenbaum.
Rosenbaum. That's what I'm talking about. It says no degree in accounting, therefore unqualified for the position. Number one, I'm going to make something perfectly freaking clear. You know what the qualifications for this office are? Whatever stated in the damn Constitution. That's what whatever the state legislature has put together, whatever the campaign laws state, that's the qualifications. It has nothing to do with a damn degree. It has nothing to do with a certain amount of college. Look, I'm going to tell you guys, you have heard these dumbass college professors saying the idiotic stuff that spews from their mouths these days.
Right.
That's college educated.
Is
that really what we want?
I'll say Rosenbaum rightfully supports the trades. 1,000% behind him on that. Mm-hmm. I'm a union kid. Love it.
Right.
What if a man or a woman, what if someone who was an electrician and then ended up being a contractor, ended up owning their own business, went to trade school, didn't go to college, then said, you know what, I've run my business for decades. I can go be auditor. I can go be treasurer. They don't have a college degree.
According to Rosenbaum, that's not good enough.
Yes. Also, how many?
But yet, with that college degree, he was max fine late on multiple campaign reports.
Hiding finances, we don't know.
Yeah. All of his finances, which we have covered in a previous video, the election board video. I recommend you watch it if you want to learn more about the type of person we're dealing with here.
We also, how many people get a college degree in one thing and end up working successfully in fields that are not related?
Right.
Also, usually when you're an accountant and a CPA, you stay at a job longer than 2 years.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law is a CPA. He does forensic accounting. Crazy smart. Love it.
He is a genius.
He's been at his job for as long as he's been married to my sister. So I was 17 when they got married, 30 years.
Right.
He didn't bounce.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting because as you know, I was a trucker for a decade. I worked in Indiana State Prison for 7 years. When your employment record consists of a year here, 2 years there, when you haven't held a job longer than 2 years, it's a cause for concern.
And he shared this on Indeed.
Absolutely.
So,
it's out there. By all means, go look it up.
But auditing your CPA, great, wonderful. That CPA license is set to expire in June. So I'm really interested to see what he does with that.
So look, yeah, it's going to be interesting.
But see how it's sitting here bashing. If you sit here and bash one over and over and over, eventually it becomes toxic. It becomes old. It just shows how you are as a person.
Exactly.
And we have someone who's gone on the radio and sent out mailers on attack versus somebody who hasn't.
Right.
We want to stop the toxicity and the drama and the chaos that's going on in our county right now. This is not the way to do it.
And I'm going to say this, and this is just my personal opinion. I firmly believe that if you were to elect Rosenbaum, then he would bend over for Connie and Rich and do whatever they wanted. That's my personal opinion, because interestingly enough, apparently he did receive plenty of donations to his campaign, but they're all uncategorized, which means we have no idea who donated to him.
And the election board said, we don't even know what to ask because we need to know what's going on.
We need to know what's going on.
What is going on?
70% were uncategorized. Yes, the last list for 2022.
When he's running for this office.
2023, which was
county council.
County council
was 100% undisclosed.
100% undisclosed.
Who supported him in getting into county council?
Yeah, I regret
this time 70-some%. Who's supporting him?
No, 70 was before, 100% is now.
It could be simple. He just needs to explain, and he's not.
But he's not. It says here, and this is the part that kills me, reasons not to support Graves. Campaign funded by Stables, $5,000 to date, with more coming. Do you really want Tim Stables to control the auditor's office he's gone?
How do they know more's coming?
Right.
And number two, you're leaving the office. The person you've appointed is coming to take over. It is not scandalous. I'd be concerned if it was like 150,000. I'd be like, wait a minute, what's going on? This is passing of the torch.
I believe in you. I back you.
This is what happens. This isn't scandalous. And ladies and gentlemen, $5,000 for a primary. Signs are expensive. And that's why I get so mad when people, even people that I don't support, if you ask me how do you get their sign, I'll help you.
Absolutely.
I might in my brain blow up that sign. I never would in real life because they're expensive. That is somebody's money, whether it's the candidate or their mom donated or whatever,
in general,
that paid for the sign. Shirts are expensive. Signs are expensive. Mailers like this are very, very expensive.
Look, I'm just going to lay it out. A better option? No, he's not a better option.
No,
I don't give a damn who he's endorsed by. He's proven, in my opinion, he should be kept far away from public
those
office.
Endorsements came before this.
Yeah. Well, moving on.
Oh, the Haney's.
Okay.
So the cabal.
The cabal. What does it say? Cabal members. Tim Stabos' cabal members.
If I know them, am I cabal by association?
Right. It says here accomplishments. None at all. None soever. Criminal allegations on others, but can't show proof of wrongdoing.
Now, is this talking about?
Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Makes criminal allegations on others, but can't show proof of wrongdoing. He did show proof. He absolutely showed proof. We're talking.
I don't even know
something else. Hold on. This may be something else. But the claim, in my opinion, is talking about when Connie went and crashed her damn car in Illinois, conveniently close to a cannabis dispensary. I'm not sure if that's where she's going. Conveniently close to a home she has in Illinois. I don't know if that's where she was going. I have no idea. Conveniently at 4:00 in the morning, what was she doing? Nobody knows. Allegedly, she went for this, that, or the other, but there's no proof of anything. What there is proof of is the fact that she signed her name to a document, signed someone else's name, specifically Joe Haney, to a document that should have been signed by him. What did the prosecutor's report say? It said she committed forgery. However, due to Indiana statute, I don't feel comfortable prosecuting this because basically they said it was so pathetic.
It was such a bad job.
It was such a bad job that you can't possibly think this was intention as a forgery. Are you kidding me? What a stupid ass reason to not prosecute.
The accident is where I incurred her wrath. And my statement was always, according to her, she said she was going to Chicago because her son was in the emergency room.
Right.
Her son is deaf. She speaks fluent sign language. She was there to translate. There were posts prior to what happened saying he was already in the hospital. Mm-hmm. So I said this, as a mom, I get it. You get a call saying your son's in the emergency room. Mm-hmm. You have the county car. I'm going as well.
Right.
As a mom, I get that.
Mm-hmm.
I said to her in a meeting, I said, but you didn't report the accident properly.
Right.
That's the problem. Not that you went, because I get it. I'm a mama bear. I'm going. I wanted to see my son. He was a senior at LaPorte High School, and I was giving my son. If you don't give me my son, I'm going to walk through these halls screaming his name. Right. I get it. Mm-hmm. At the accident, you could have picked up the phone and called Joe and said, hey, listen, here's what happened. Right. I had the car. I wasn't thinking, I shouldn't have taken it, but in the moment I took it and just reported the accident properly. Mm-hmm. That's the crux of this entire story.
Right.
She was pro Joe. She was calling Rich Merzinski racist and attacking her father. And I was on her side. Like, how dare he?
Right.
It was her and Joe against the world until the car accident.
Yep.
Until he said, we're reporting this because she snuck in the repairs into a stack of winter repairs. And the moment that he wanted accountability, she flipped. She flipped on the entire group of us who had supported her. Tim, me, I was helping her put signs out the day before the election.
Yeah.
So on this page, this cabal, I'm not sure if they're trashing Tim or if they're trashing Joe and Juanita.
I'm not sure.
I know that if they say Joe's done nothing, we can look at the county employee health clinic that's for family and county employees that they can go to for free.
Joe's responsible for that.
Joe's responsible for that.
The very basic whistleblower protection that exists currently is because of Joe Haney. Don't say he didn't accomplish anything. Joe really didn't accomplish anything. Connie Grammarosa didn't accomplish anything.
Joe has been championing for the gentleman who just wants the trees cut down by Soldiers Park.
Right.
It is now Connie and Rich against Joe for no matter what Joe does.
No matter what Joe wants to do. It's
but
constantly against.
Joe's at community events. Joe's reachable.
Joe went to the Kingsford Heights.
He did.
They were talking about getting rid of the school. Right. Nobody else showed up. None of the other commissioners gave a damn.
And so they're saying Joe broke the rule by hiring his wife to work in elections.
So here it says, talks about transparency, integrity, and nepotism, but hired his wife and bypassed the HR department. Really?
Commissioners don't hire for the polls.
No background check, no drug test, no submission of driver's license.
It's a poll worker position.
Operate the voter registration bus for the clerk.
She's never operated the van, the unit. Number one. Number two,
the mobile voting unit has never been driven by Juanita Haney.
Commissioners don't pick who works the polls. Literally, they say we need poll workers.
We need poll workers.
I signed up 4 days total. You're right. I wasn't drug tested. I didn't have a background check.
No.
Because I'm not working for the county.
Right.
Now,
the polls.
if you exceed a certain amount, you're not really a county employee, but they have paperwork on you because taxes. County has to do that.
Right.
You are not a county employee by working for the polls.
Right.
If that was the case, I could not have done it.
So here's the next thing, which is weird. Took $20,000 of PPP COVID-19 funds for an illegitimate trucking company owned by Joe.
Now, I'll say this.
13 Colonies Consulting, Inc. with no employees.
There was an individual who made that exact same allegation, word for word, at a commission meeting. Again, that was Rick Kentaft.
Rick Kentaft.
Is Rick the one who wrote this? I'm not saying that.
No idea.
Are his words being used? Are his words being used for this? Yes.
Yeah.
There was no trucking company. No. Joe will tell you. Juanita will tell you. You can look at the paperwork. Of course. Shaw Friedman says he sells blood door to door.
Well, yeah. There's that. Yeah.
It was a consulting company, and here's the thing: the PPP loans, yes, they were abused by people, but their intent and used by many more was, my company has been impacted by COVID.
Right.
This is to keep it going.
Many people's companies were impacted by the government shutdown.
Yes.
That's the way.
Got the loan, used the loan as supposed to. If there was an issue with this fraudulent company that's being accused of, people are being heavily prosecuted for PPP loans that they got. His name would have surely come up by now
if it was a fraudulent use of the funds. It hasn't.
So we're just wildly throwing out allegations.
Right.
That could be slander. Right? I mean, I'm just saying allegedly for entertainment purposes only.
Shown here, it says, LaPorte County Republicans, you can do better. The better option, it says, vote. That's the better option.
Okay, vote.
Randy Novak for commissioner in November's general election.
If I was Randy, I would be freaking out, livid, and coming against this.
Desperate to distance myself from this literal garbage. No, I'm going to tell you, that's where it's going to end up. Yeah. People are going to go, what the hell? And
no Republican can vote for Randy Novak in this primary. They would have to pull a Democrat.
Right. Well, here's the thing. Randy's going on to the general.
Right.
He's unopposed. Same thing with Joe. Joe's going on to the general. He's unopposed.
Doesn't Randy have a nickname, No Bid Novak?
He does.
Oh, okay. That's the one. Got it.
That's the end of the mailer.
It's gross.
It's disgusting.
It's a week before. There's not enough time to respond. Whoever did this, I'm going to say this coming from a psychology, social work aspect. This screams desperation. This screams fear. This screams notice me.
Yeah,
this also screams absurdity, paranoia.
Yeah.
And
you know what it screams to me?
People being used to better other people.
But you know what else it screams to
me?
Spell check.
It does.
It screams spell check. Learn to use it. It is not hard. If you see a little red squiggle under a word, that means it's incorrect.
Well, listen.
Right click it, and it'll give you a list of. No, I'm trying to help whoever wrote this. I'm trying to help them. If you see a little red squiggle right underneath the word, that means it's not in the dictionary. If you right click it, use your mouse, right, and you right click. I have to talk slow because they're obviously moronic. Right click, and it'll bring up a list of suggestions. And then you can see and be like, oh, you know what else you can do? You can open a separate browser window, or if you're on your phone, you can go to Google and you can type DEF space and then whatever word you're trying to spell, and it'll pop up. It's amazing.
This mailer says don't be used by the people in the mailer. Well, I'm going to say to whoever wrote this, don't be used by the people that wanted you to write this.
Yep.
Don't be so enraged on what you hear other people say, what you think is being said. And how would you feel if your children were put in this mailer?
Right. This is
or your mom, ridiculous. Your wife, your husband. These are people. Candidates running put themselves out there.
Yes, they do.
It's not, you don't run expecting something like this.
Right.
It's We can do better. If we want the chaos to stop, this is not helping it stop.
This is, you know, what's really amusing to me is kind of that's the whole claim, right? Is, oh, we have to stop what's happening. We have to stop, quote, these people, right? And I assume they're talking about the people in the mailer.
Right.
What's really funny to me is the real chaos isn't because of the people in this mailer. The real chaos are the ones that are already in office and the ones that have been serving. We need a clean sweep almost. There are only, in my opinion, there are only 2 people.
Right.
This is just my opinion, that are currently elected in LaPorte County that deserve to retain their jobs. Number 1, Ella Bilderback, as recorder, has done a phenomenal job. I don't give a damn what this stupid mailer says about her relationship.
Not heard her primary opponent say, and again, I'm not always with her primary opponent, so maybe she has. Why doesn't Ella deserve another term? Because she's friends with someone?
I also haven't heard her say anything about the office she's running for.
True.
She talks. Now, I will say she says some good buzzwords. She's pro 2A. She's this, she's that, all of which has zero to do with the office.
So if you go on the LaPorte County Republican Party Facebook page, there are videos uploaded. There's also surveys that candidates have done. I did that. And for me, it was a chance for candidates to really show who they are, why they're running, all of that.
Right.
In her survey response, and it's on the Facebook page if you want to look. It was, well, you know, I retired and I think my talents best align with this office, which is great.
Right.
How? I haven't heard her say how. I also haven't heard her say Ella has done this and I disagree with this, or hasn't done this and I disagree with that. And that's essential especially when you primary somebody in your own party, Democrat or Republican. Usually it's something is so big that she has to leave.
Here's the page you're looking for those of you who may be watching this on Facebook. It looks like this. It has the big picture with the elephant and the party in front.
The giant elephant. It's huge.
Yeah, and it says
Donovan wanted to write it.
There is a space between La and Port. Why? Let's talk about that real quick. The city of LaPorte is one word.
One word.
Together. LaPorte, no space.
The county separate.
Everything else to do with LaPorte. The county itself is LaPorte with a space.
But what's funny is if you talk about the city, you will see people who do capital L, lowercase a, capital P, all one word, or all lowercase.
Right.
Just look for the page with the big, giant, our son wanted to write it in the parade, elephant.
Yeah, that elephant
is huge.
That is a cool score. But anyway, they have all the information you can want on the canvas.
Ella's response was one of the first ones, so you have to scroll down.
Yep.
Sharon's is newer, so you don't have to scroll down as far. She did not say in her survey, and I did ask not to bash current candidates, to keep it classy. But even in her speeches, it was not, I want to be recorder because I can do this better or that better, or this is lacking or that.
Right.
It was just, well, that's the office for me. Right. And you know what? It might be.
It may be. Yeah.
But if nothing is so horrible or bad or needs to change, it may just be she only has one more term. You just have to wait till the seat is open.
Right.
I want to know what Ella has done so bad. And if it's this allegation of raising the recorder fees, well, she has no say over that.
The state controls.
So there's nothing.
All right. Anyway, I want to wrap up with this. I think voting is one of the last true freedoms that we have left. It's also the last true anonymity that exists. No one, other than which party's primary ballot you chose, no one knows who you vote for when you go in there.
I thought my dad was a Democrat my whole entire life because my dad has been one of those people. I'm not wearing a candidate shirt. I'm not putting a sign in my yard. And when I'd be a little kid and be like, who'd you vote for? He would tell me it was none of my business. It's the last chance that you have to go and fully be private.
Yep.
Frederick Douglass said that freedom lies in the ammo box. I'm not going to misquote the quote, but it does reference that freedom is in the ballot box. It is freedom. It is privacy.
The ballot box, and something else.
Yeah.
I remember the quote, but I can't remember the rest of it. There's one other place he refers to.
They valued the freedom way back, jury box, way back when, and it's still as important today, if not more.
Right, absolutely. So look, ladies and gentlemen, it was a little bit of a rant, but it's because
I'm sad.
You know what? I'm so sick of the negativity, just in the county in general, and this is not going to solve it.
No.
Even if you were to take the recommendations from this stupid freaking mailer and vote for the people they're talking about, the only thing you're going to get is more of the same.
And it's going to turn people off from ever running. How could our 18 or 21-year-old get this mailer and ever think that they would ever want
to run
for anything?
Absolutely.
Anything.
It's disgusting. Whoever did this, you should be ashamed of yourself.
You've disenchanted people. And as a resident, I'm like, oh God, it's still going on.
Yeah. Absolute lies. Front to back.
Right.
Period. End of story. Disgusting.
Reach out to the candidates.
Yeah. Reach out to the candidates themselves. Ask them about the things that you may have misgivings about. I would, you know what? Let's take a random thing. State fees, right? That were raised by the recorder's office, right? The recording fees. Reach out to Ella.
There's an event at the Rolling Prairie VFW tonight where candidates, I don't know who, are going to be there. Go. And if Ella's there, say, hey, what's going on with the fees? If Joe's there, hey, what's going on with this? Reach out to them.
Right.
Ask them questions. They don't have enough time and enough way to respond to everyone.
Right.
But think of the bias that this comes from. This comes from people who are not going to tell you anything good.
Right.
And it just keeps the fighting going.
Yeah. So if any of the candidates were involved in this,
please come out against it.
You don't want to be associated with this because, in my opinion, every single candidate that was referenced as a, quote, better option is tainted now by this.
Right.
If you were smart, you would come out and say, I don't know who did this, but that's not me. I have no part of this.
And people are looking, that sounds like a threat. People are really looking at who sent this. And if they find out who, charges are most likely going to be sought. And this is not worth going to jail or prison over.
Like, it's really not. It's so silly.
Dumb.
It's so stupid. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen,
vote.
Yes. Almost over. Thankfully, the primary will be done, and we'll have much more of this to look forward to in the general. Gee, I'm so excited.
But we'll have like a month off. Right. And then there's you have the general election, then we have like a year off with no elections.
That's going to be nice. So God bless you. God bless Indiana, and God bless the United States of America. I hope you have a great evening.
If you'd like to support the show, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Dion's Daily Dose. This has been Dion's Daily Dose, hosted by Dion Bergeron. Executive producers, Sean Holgram and Michael Beebe. Copyright 2024. Dion's Daily Dose, all rights reserved.